So how did being a father change you at all? From, I mean, you was a father young. So what was some of your perspectives?
I mean, there was no big like, oh shit, like I gotta, you know what I mean? I was so young and I was so ignorant to the situation. I thought I could handle that shit in 2 seconds. But then it started to really like creep up. You know what I mean? I had so much help though from my family, from my mom, from my dad, my sisters, like everybody helped out so much. So, but it just always made me have that thought in the back of my mind, like, yo, you got somebody who's dependent on you. So when a lot of my homies were crashing out, like kitchen murder charges, like doing things that were just above and beyond, where it's like, yo, you're never gonna get out of jail for this shit. You're gonna get caught. It was like, man, maybe I shouldn't do that. It was like that, almost like another conscious voice in my head, like you got somebody dependent on you forever, like that looks up to you, that she's gonna have to tell people you're her father, and she's gonna have to put her head down and be ashamed of you, or she's gonna be like, that's my daddy, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of him and I love him, and he gives me a good example. Like me and my daughter go over a script that I took from Nipsey Hussle, you know, R.I.P. Nip, you know, I fuck with Nip heavy. I asked her, what's integrity? And she answered, doing the right thing when no one's watching. Are you a leader or a follower? Or a leader? What's a leader? Somebody who makes their own decisions for themselves. You know what I mean? So that was just, you know, having another you looking at you like, what are you going to do? What are you going to show?
That's crazy though.
Who you going to be? So that definitely is, she saved my life too. You know what I mean? Because if it wasn't for her, I would have been crashed out. Like,
yeah.
I had no conscience. I was reckless. I was always trying to prove myself, but it was like, nah, I can't. Like I got that one. You know what I mean?
So if you came from a good home, bro, you came from a good home, good background, good support system. You know what I mean? Like you sound like you came from love. You know what I'm saying? You went to private school. What was it about your environment that made you rebel or go the other way? Like, what was attractive about that? Why didn't you kind of stay in this environment and blossom and grow a different way versus the experiences that you had?
I mean, I feel like my personality in general is just always to rebel. So like when I came from a good home, I wanted the street shit. And then when I went to jail, I became a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when someone kind of tells me you can't, it's like, and then I played a lot of sports and I was good at sports. So it was like the kids in the areas that I was around couldn't really play with me. Like I was playing 3-4 years up from the time I was like 7 years old. So they would take me to the hood a lot, like coaches and other people like, no, let's see if you can play with the real boys. I remember that. There, yeah. And being the only white person and being small, it was like, you got to be extra gangster with it. Like you can't let nobody punk you. You can't let nobody try. Like I'm swinging off the rip. Like you look at me wrong just because I got to stand out in that sense. If not, you're going to try and take advantage of me. So just sports really like brought me into that type of environment, that type of culture. And then, you know, hip hop culture in general, you know, they glorify that shit, like selling a pack, being a man, catching a body. So it was
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. It's like, and then my idol's Allen Iverson too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like,
that's mine too.
Cornrows, tattoos and stuff. So it's like, yo, these are the people I'm looking up to and this is what they're doing. So that's why now even more especially, it's kind of like I'm trying to pay it forward. Like the athletes I do work with, like shout out Cam Kitchens, JoJo, Player of the Week. You know what I mean? You see kids like that, you try to take them in and be like, nah, bro, like stay on the right track. So then you can go back and teach somebody. You know what I mean? So if we all start to change and then you grab somebody and pay it forward, like I said, the collective going to improve. So knowing what I came from too, I feel like it helped me when I was down there because I know what this is like. But then I went through all that, so I know what that's like too. So I'm almost like the bridge, I feel like. Like I used to take all the hood kids to the rich people party, you know what I mean? And then drop them off. And it's like, nah, they cool, they with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it really bridges the gap between you might judge him because he looks this way, he's from here, but you're going to give him a chance because that's my friend. And then once you start talking to him and get to know him, you realize like, damn, that's a real cool person.
Yeah. And
a real cool individual just happened to come from a fucked up situation. So, you know what I mean? Sports really drew me to that. And then I just like to rebel for the most part.